Senator Cornyn.
Thank you all for being here. If there's one conclusion that I've drawn from the general subject matter we're discussing here, it is that we are losing. We're losing. And so if the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome, what should we be doing differently? And I'd like both of you to comment on that, but specifically, in my time here in the Senate, I've observed that the most successful counter-drug efforts that the United States has ever engaged in has been Plan Colombia, although obviously Colombia continues to have many problems, as do many of the countries we're talking about, whether it's corruption, obviously the money that Americans spend on illegal drugs is a huge magnet. But what should we be doing differently? Maybe Mr. Urban, would you start with you?
Sure. So I certainly agree with your statement, sir. I think in the last 6 months we have an opportunity to start to impact the cartels and start to achieve some semblance of success. And before I came in here today, I said, what would success look like in 18 months? And I think specifically, we need to be specific with Mexico. So one is extraditions or expulsions or whatever they're going to call it. Those 29 that they sent back to us earlier this year was a very significant event. That needs to be done on a monthly basis, right? So if there's several hundred extraditions pending, they need to be sent back to us in a timely manner, or sent to us, I should say. Anyone else that's a mid-level cartel member or higher should be indicted, and again, expelled or extradited from Mexico in a timely manner. That would have a dramatic impact on the cartels.
That was a big deal when Mexico extradited the 29 individuals. So my experience has been that this has been a huge obstacle, is to just getting through the Mexican legal process with all the avenues for escape that people have. So you think more extraditions would be significant?
Well, it played out with what you mentioned in terms of Plan Colombia with the AUC and the FARC. Those were successes once we started to extradite those individuals to the United States 20 years ago. If we did the 29 that we did on a monthly basis over the next 18 months, you would have a dramatic impact on the Mexican cartel's ability to operate. And the costs are limited in what we have to put out there, and we can get these people back here. And they'll also cooperate with us, some of them, and expose the corruption that we're talking about here today that's systemic within Mexico.
Doctor?
Let me reiterate, Senator Cornyn, 3 points I made. One is focusing on the middle layer of criminal groups. That could well be done through enabling their extradition. Extraditions are particularly meaningful when they reveal political collusions and sponsors in government. So I hope that out of the extraditions of Ovidio Guzman and El Chapo and El Mayo, we will see revelations as part of plea deals and court proceedings as to the political cover that criminal groups in Mexico enjoy. The second element I would emphasize is going not just after drugs, but after the wide set of economic activities that criminal groups engage in. And I thank you for your sponsorship of the Gold and Mining Act, which starts to be addressed in a very important way one of the components of economies into which criminal groups around Latin America and beyond Latin America have become engaged. And the third is enabling the entire structure of rule of law, which is where Plan Colombia comes in again. In my view, the most successful element of Plan Colombia was helping to rebuild an absolutely shattered and intimidated justice system in Colombia, to be far more independent, far heftier, helping to rebuild police forces. So having mechanisms and tools, agencies in the United States that enable this broader spectrum of infrastructure and system to counter rule of law and enable and counter criminality and enable rule of law is fundamental.
Thank you. Mr. Urban, as you know, there are vetted units within the Mexican Army and the Mexican Navy that work together with U.S. intelligence services to target some of these fentanyl labs, among other drug labs and the like. Do you think it would be helpful to have additional training opportunities here in the United States for those vetted units?
Absolutely. We need to dramatically increase our funding and the opportunities to train these Mexican vetted units here as much as possible before they go back and start to engage the cartels and the elements of corruption that's already been described. I think essentially, compared to what we've done in the past and the opportunities that we see now in terms of engaging the cartels, we need to go all in on the judicial components within Mexico. So standing up those vetted units will be a long-term gain for us, not just on the Mexican cartels over the next 18 months, but using those vetted units to gather judicial evidence, right, to prosecute these cartel leadership entities in the future.
Thank you. My time is up.
Sir,